Hi, this is Melissa Wagenhofer. This is my video observation journal. The topic of this video observation journal is interviewing a speech and language pathologist, then following steps to conduct a functional behavioral assessment, an FBA, for an individual on the spectrum. The individual or student observed regarding the potential problem, behavior, or behaviors targeted that instigated the FBA discussed throughout this paper will be referred as Student A, for privacy and confidentiality purposes. The plan for interviewing and how such a meeting will be set up is to invite the SLP into the classroom. The teacher will invite the SLP to become part of Student A's educational team if they are not already. This is helpful because some students who have speech problems may also have behavior problems that need to be evaluated. Then the teacher will communicate his or her observations on the undesired behaviors. Teacher will share with the SLP their professional findings on Student A's behaviors. What is happening? When is it happening? What have the consequences been for Student A's behavior? Have those consequences been consistent? And have those consequences been effective in deterring Student A's undesired behaviors? Then the teacher will ask the SLP to observe his Student A, and if the SLP has observed behavior problems, the information or report from the SLP can be used as part of the assessment. This way, the teacher can professionally and competently evaluate his or her findings against another professional's colleagues. According to the SLP that was interviewed, it should be considered that the amount of services time given to a public school setting is based on what will make the child functional within the classroom. So they're not going to get anything extra other than what's going to make them function within the classroom. And he said that many SLPs would love to spend more time with the student. However, the fact of the matter is that public schools only allow speech therapy to be provided to those that show a deficit in the area of speech and language that affects their academic performance within the classroom. The main job of the SLP is to assist the child in becoming successful and functional within the realm of speech and language. The SLP stated that many parents also seek outside speech therapy. This is because speech and language looks very differently outside of the academic setting. The student observed Student A is a 7-year-old first-grade male with ASD. Student A was diagnosed with ASD when he was a late 4-year-old preschool student. Student A is currently in a special education autism class with same-age autistic peers. Student A currently receives SLP, speech and language pathology services, and occupational therapies, OT. Student A's primary home language is English. However, Spanish is also spoken amongst the elders in the family within the home. But Student A prefers to speak in and be spoken to in English. Student A is able to utter 1 to 3 word sentences to express his knowledge, needs, wants, feelings, and also during socializing while on the playground or in student-led groups. He finds it difficult to use language when he's in a teacher-led group, or he's feeling pressured, or he thinks that the material is just too difficult. An FBA is the process of gathering and analyzing information about a student's behavior and accompanying circumstances so that one can determine the purpose or intent of the student's actions. This will enable the teacher and or SLP to determine the appropriateness of the student's present educational placement and services, and whether changes would help the student to display more acceptable behaviors, identify positive interventions that would reduce the undesired behavior, and identify appropriate behaviors to be substituted in the place of inappropriate ones. The potential problem behaviors targeted that Student A exhibits include his refusal to work on tasks viewed that are too difficult and his inability to effectively communicate words. When Student A is faced with a task that he deems too difficult to complete, he will refuse to participate. He'll push the paper away. He'll put his pencil down. He just refuses to do it. Since Student A's communication skills are still limited, he veers towards avoidance behaviors. Again, he'll either sit idly, distract his peers, fidget with his paper and pencil, draw on the table with his writing utensils. He'll push it away, or he'll cry. Student A finds it difficult to express himself or communicate with words when he is in this type of a situation. If it's student-led or it's something that he's interested in, something that he likes, he can articulate 1 to 3 sentence utterances so you can understand what he's trying to communicate. Now, when he's in this circumstance, he finds it extremely difficult to express those feelings. An FBA would help the teacher and SLP narrow down and determine the antecedent or the activity that immediately precedes a problem behavior. It will also help determine the frequency of the behavior, and the FBA will help the teacher or SLP discover the disruption that the behavior causes. Then with this knowledge, the IEP team, the teacher, parent, service providers, which would be the SLP again, psychologists, administrators, etc., can devise a plan to implement positive interventions reducing the undesired behaviors, which again will enable the student to work through his antecedents without acting out and completing his work. Thank you.